Hello everybody and welcome to Man United News Live, and we'll be talking about everything Manchester United, with the news, with everything that's going on at United, and we're talking about like a whole lot of other things. Like we could start from, the press conference that went on today, which we've already done kind of like a review online and all of that. But like I said, basically we're going to be, reviewing everything. And we can also take a cue from what Ruben Amorim has said over the last couple of hours. So welcome. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. We're coming a bit later today because of the Premier League game that went on, which we were watching and trying to analyze, as well as the women's game that took off against Chelsea that ended in a 1-1 draw. Apart from that, everything's going well, everything's going good. We have a lot of news to go through and we'll have a lot of things to catch up on at least, but let me have a bit of your time. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. So basically, we're going to start with three major updates which we're going to bring to you. We're also going to talk about squad updates. We're going to talk about we're going to talk a bit about the match versus Sunderland, which happens tomorrow. We'll talk about transfer rumors as well, and we'll talk about other news with regards to Benjamin Sesko and stuff. First is number one, manager updates, and obviously we cannot go away from this. In fact, if you just search online for like the Manchester United news or Manchester United manager news and stuff, all you will see is Ruben Amorim is under pressure. Basically, the manager Ruben Amorim is under intense pressure, intense scrutiny following Manchester United struggles this season, which see us sitting 14th in the table, in the Premier League table after 6 games. Amorim defended his tactics and team's poor results in the press conference, acknowledging that the pressure ahead of the crucial match against Sunderland on the 4th of October, which is tomorrow, is there. Like, we are already under pressure and stuff, and Sunderland will know it and want to pounce. There are also rumors circulating that Ruben Amorim could resign or be sacked, although Sky Sports reports that he currently has the full backing of the club. So we'll break that down as we go. Then also ex-players have also made comments which Ruben Amorim has answered, and we're going to talk about it based on the press conference review. We've done a full breakdown already on YouTube with the press conference review with regards to what Ruben Amorim said, and then now we're going to do on this live try to analyze the comments that have been made by Wayne Rooney and Gary Neville, as well as other ex-Man United players and pundits alike, and then we'll kind of break it down and analyze based on what Ruben Amorim has responded to, and then give our opinion. And I would like to also know your opinion as well, so put it in the comment section so we can have those conversations. Then the next bit of news is the injury updates and squad updates. Obviously, we all know that Mazraoui and Lisandro Martinez remain sidelined with injury, and they're not going to feature against Fulham. I just watched Fulham and Bournemouth, so they're not going to feature against Sunderland. But Tyrell Malacia has been reintegrated into the first team training after a loan spell at PSV and could also be available for the game against Sunderland. But it remains to be seen if he's going to feature. We're going to be watching that. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. We watched the training video, and you can see that Tyrell Malacia is already in training with the team. He's been reintegrated, he's playing and all of that. Now, let's talk about Tyrell Malacia, because I see a lot of things that have been pushed, especially by the media. And the truth is, we as Man United fans will take up what the media have been telling us. Tyrell Malacia the media has, because Tyrone Malacia was not part of the plans for Ruben Amorim, he was now tagged a member of the bomb squad. The bomb squad being Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Antony, and Alejandro Garnacho, including Tyrone Malacia. Now, you look at the way things have panned out for Tyrone Malacia and stuff. He has not done anything to warrant being called a member of the bomb squad. But the media told us that there was a bomb squad, and that was what it is. And boom, we lapped onto it and we accepted it, and it became a thing, especially this summer. Never heard of a situation where a squad is called a bomb squad because they're exiled from the team. But it is what it is. Now Malacia is back, and we're sounding as if, we as Man United fans are sounding as if Tyrone Malacia being back is a new thing, basically. Like, oh, he's back, so we didn't know that he was going to be back. I mean, Ruben Amorim was asked in the press conference, I remember correctly, during the pre-Arsenal press conference, and he was asked about these guys, these players. If you remember, we're still in transfer window then, and then he was asked, and he said, "Oh, that if they don't get clubs or they don't find clubs, they would be reintegrated into the team." So, I mean, it is what it is. Tyrone Malacia tried to secure a move to Turkey, but eventually he didn't make it. So obviously he had to come back, and he played with the under-21s for a bit, or trained with the under-21s, as we heard in the reports, and eventually he was reintegrated into the squad. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about the whole Tyrone Malacia situation. But I believe Tyrone Malacia was eventually going to be reintegrated into the squad, and I don't know what the media is feeding us that makes us to want to accept everything they say. With regards to Casemiro, he's back from suspension and he's available for selection. Hopefully he gets to start this next one so that he can bring some maybe calm and some maturity and some experience in the team to be able to play really well. I mean, he's pretty much, I think, 34 right now, and then he'll probably be the same age as Granit Xhaka. So they both, compare both of them, both play defensive midfield, and it would be good to have a player like Casemiro in the team. Another one is Amad Diallo, who is back with the team after his compassionate leave, and is available for selection against Sunderland. And if you see, we did a match preview for the Sunderland game, and most likely he's going to start. This is what I put in my Sunderland lineup, so we'll observe that, and then whatever happens, we'll give you feedback as the case may be. What else? So if we're going to do a match preview, just a quick match preview, which we've already done basically for the Sunderland game. We've done it. We've talked about it. We've given you a tactical breakdown. You want to watch it after this live, just go watch it. You get a tactical breakdown and everything. This was yesterday, starting lineup and selection and all that. But just to give you a bit of an update on the match, obviously the match is going to happen tomorrow. And then obviously it's going to kick off at 3 p.m. in British Standard Time. And then the match is crucial for Amorim. With anything less than a win, which will potentially intensify the pressure on his position. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. It will intensify his the pressure on his position, and yeah, it is one thing to see. But we're hearing rumors, obviously, rumors flying left, right, and center, that especially from Laurie Whitwell. We'll analyze that. I have all those news and stuff, and we're going to just kind of break it down and stuff. Then Sunderland, who have enjoyed start to the Premier League campaign, sitting now 6th because Bournemouth won their game against Fulham, and Bournemouth are 2nd, so Sunderland have dropped to 6th in the table. And then also United will observe a mini silence and wear black armbands in tribute to the victims of the synagogue attack in Manchester. It's a sad thing to see that people will just be doing whatever they want to do with their lives, and then you come on and then terrorize them and stuff. So yeah, our hearts go out to them, and our prayers are with them and their families and all of that. So yeah, Man United will be commemorating and having a mini silence for them. And then speaking of transfer news and rumors, because I'm leaving all the Amorim things out because obviously that is the main news we have in the media. So I'll just brush through it, come back to Amorim, have a conversation, break it down, dissect it, and then we end the stream. So transfer news and rumors. Basically, there's reports that Manchester United rejected a 100 million bid for Bruno Fernandes in the summer, but Saudi clubs are expected to make a renewed bid in January. Yeah, what are you guys thinking? I've seen a lot of chatter online about Bruno Fernandes not being the problem. I've seen a lot of chatter online about Bruno Fernandes being an issue in the team and stuff. But I know people want to single out one player as the main issue in the team. We've all seen as well Rasmus Højlund scoring for Napoli, and he has 3 goals already, 2 goals in the Champions League and 1 goal in the league, and 2 of the goals were assisted by Kevin De Bruyne. Now, okay, Nishfan is saying, please can you rate my all-time United 11? Yeah, if you put it in comments, we will rate it and talk about it. So yeah, we'll talk about it and analyze each all-time 11. So each player in the all-time 11, and then I'll break it down for you. So thank you for that comment. So like I said, Rasmus Højlund has scored 3 goals for Napoli, and he has basically created a situation where we have to now start thinking to ourselves, what's the problem? Like, everybody's saying, no, United is the problem. What's the problem with this team? What's the problem with this squad and all of that? But then people want to heap the responsibility of Rasmus Højlund scoring on Bruno Fernandes. And in truth, I'm not going to say, oh, I want to defend Bruno Fernandes. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I have an opinion about it. But I'm not going to come and say, okay, it is because of Bruno Fernandes. That's why we have not, Rasmus has not been able to create chances or score goals or anything whatsoever. But there are so many factors, so many mitigating factors that could have led to Rasmus not scoring for Man United, including the fact that we have wingers who don't create chances for him. At some point, Rashford didn't create chances for him. Everybody wanted to score for themselves. You have Garnacho, who also didn't create chances for him, wanted to score for himself. You have a situation where the players want to, instead of crossing the ball, they want to shoot. You even had this season where, I think it was in pre-season, where Patrick Dogu got the chance to square the play, and guess what? He shot, and then Rasmus got really mad. Same thing happened last season. Okay, thinking, okay, this is under Ruben Amorim, we're going to get chances and stuff for Ruben for players or Rasmus to score, but then we don't have that. We think it's a new era, a new season, a new rebuild and stuff. We expect Rasmus to score, but the pressure is being heaped. The goal scoring pressure is heaped on a player who is young and basically had 1 season under Man United. Man United, 1 good season, and then the second season he was, he had a bad season, even though he was still scoring in Europe. But the thing is, they want to just only talk about the Premier League numbers instead of talking about his overall numbers. It's pretty much similar numbers than Napoli now. 2 goals in the league, in the Champions League, and 1 goal in the league. In Man United, in his first season, he had 5 goals in Champions League. In the second season, he had 5 goals in Europe, or 6 goals in Europe. At the end of the day, he ended up scoring 10 goals in all competitions and 3 assists. 4 assists. That's 14 goal contributions in all competitions last season. That is for Rasmus Højlund I'm talking about. But yeah, it is what it is. We have to. Okay, so yeah. So Nishfan is saying his all-time Man United 11 is De Gea, Evra, Vidic, Stam, Mazraoui, Carrick, Park, McTominay, Rashford, Rooney, CR7. There's a lot of players missing in that. There's a lot of players missing in that all-time 11. If I'm going to give it a rating, looking at, so you're putting Mazraoui as your right back, you put in Park and Carrick and McTominay as, okay, so it's kind of like a 4-3-3. So Park, Carrick and McTominay. Where is you put De Gea there, right? Okay. I'm gonna rate it a 6 out of 10. that's a good team, but not a strong team. Japstam, no doubt, good player, watch team and all of that, so I can tell. We have Mazraoui, good player now, but he hasn't won anything with Manchester United. Yeah, but he hasn't won anything with Manchester United. De Gea has won trophies with Man United. He's a legend, but there are other keepers. Peter Schmeichel and Edwin van der Sar won Champions Leagues and leagues before De Gea. So De Gea could be in the pecking order, down the pecking order, but not as an all-time 11. Maybe you're putting De Gea because it's De Gea you watched, which I can totally understand, because I know when De Gea came to Man United, Edwin van der Sar was about to retire, and then De Gea's first year he really struggled. We signed him from Atletico Madrid. Evra and Vidic, yes, they make that 11. They've won a couple of trophies at United. They've led the team and all of that. Where do you now put Rio Ferdinand? Good player as well. Who else? Mazraoui. There are better right backs in Man United's Legends archive that will outplay Mazraoui. I mean, Gary Neville on his day was good as well. Michael Carrick, good player, but there's Roy Keane. Where do you put Roy Keane in this situation? Roy Keane, a legend at the club, did really well wearing that same number 16 shirt that Michael Carrick wore, and he was a defensive monster. You know, we had players in that midfield that rock things. Where do you put Paul Scholes? Because you can't put Paul Scholes ahead of McTominay, because I watch Paul Scholes, and Paul Scholes is a legend, and he's won. If you're talking about Man United all-time 11, Paul Scholes ahead of McTominay. And then where do you put, so you have Rashford, Rooney, CR7. Rashford's out already by virtue of what he has done at United. He's an academy graduate, no doubt, but I'll put Tevez there. I'll also put, there's so many players. There's so many players. There's Dwight York. There's this other player that won Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer as well. So many players that you can count that will go ahead of, you know, Rashford and all that. But with Rooney and CR7, yeah, all-time 11, those guys won. If you're looking at, let me just give you my opinion on these things here, especially with all-time 11s. If you're looking at all-time 11s, look at how many, don't forget Ryan Giggs as well. So if you're looking at all-time 11s, look at how many of them won trophies at the club, and look at how many of them did things at the club that really kind of like wowed everyone. You think about the 2008 Champions League winning team, the team that got to Champions League and won it. Even Babatov was there. Then you go back again, you think about the 1999, you forget David Beckham as well. Think about the 1999 winning team as well, Champions League winning team, treble winning team as well. You think about the team that won Premier League back-to-back, that's 3 times in a row. You have to think about those factors. Then you go back and you start looking at, you know, the greatest number 7s of all time. You know, you have David Beckham, you have I keep forgetting this guy, the Frenchman, you know, Eric Cantona. You know, you have those kinds of players. So you're looking at all-time 11s, unless you want to say based on eras, you want to be looking at all-time 11s. Then you can say, okay, from 1991 to 2000, there's an all-time 11 for that. From 1980 to 1990, there's an all-time 11 for that decade. Then you go from 2001 to 2010, you find an all-time 11 for that era. And then you go from 2011 to 2020, there's an all-time 11 and all of that. So that's the only way you can find a way to inculcate or kind of like integrate all of these players for Manchester United, especially in different eras. Like now, we're in the 5th year of another decade, and that is from 2021 to 2020 to 2030, you know. And then, yeah, you said, he said, Nishfan is saying, I was going for balance and a very hard-working 3-long midfield with an ultimate front 3 to provide the goals. For an ultimate front 3 to provide goals forward, with regards to forwards, if you put Rooney, Keane was good, but too many red cards. Okay, Yeah, way too many red cards. Yeah, but then he was a stable head. Then you can't also leave out Scholes too, Paul Scholes. There's also you look at forwards. So you put Rashford, Rooney, and CR7, but there's Berbatov. He did better numbers than Rashford from the time he played. There is Cantona, works hard as well, can play as a false 9. Rooney can play as a 9. CR7 can play as a 9 on his day. You're saying hard workers, right? All-time 11, right? On their day, at their peak. Rashford will win a Ballon d'Or as well as will McTominay before their careers end. McTominay, yes, he had a beast of a season last season. Yeah, McTominay had a beast of a season last season, so I won't take that away from him. But winning Ballon d'Or, there are players that are doing great things right now, and there's still more that are coming. Dembele doesn't seem to be slowing down. Lamine Yamal doesn't seem to be slowing down. There's so many young players that are coming up. So before McTominay can get there, he must have had, maybe based on the standard he set for this season that he's played last season, he could potentially even kind of have the opportunity, if he can create that similar season, maybe double of it, maybe score double the goals. Now there's De Bruyne and there's Rasmus, so the goal responsibility doesn't fall solely on McTominay. So if he scores the goal, drives the ball forward, creates chances, because if you look at the way Napoli play, Napoli basically they don't rely on McTominay anymore, and with the signing of Kevin De Bruyne, if you look at their formation, they've pushed McTominay to the left side of the midfield, and he plays as a left midfielder or left forward in a 4-4-2 or 3-4-2-1, depending on how Conte wants to play. If you look at Rashford, he said if Rashford was under Fergie, he would have been our top goal scorer of all time. Well, yeah, I see your point, but we had Rooney, more hardworking than Marcus Rashford. We had even Ryan Giggs, more hardworking than Marcus Rashford. Even David Beckham that had issues with Fergie, also was hardworking as well. So Rashford, didn't have stable management, which I can quite understand. He didn't really have stable management, but true. Under Van Gaal, he came out, and then he's had multiple managers. He has not had one manager. But then it all boils down to him being a professional and just playing. And also, the fan base don't help. The media also don't help. I've said this before, and I said this on a live yesterday, that Marcus Rashford, the issue with Marcus Rashford and players like Sancho as well and Saka had issues in their Euros. I think it was Euros 2020 when they missed their penalties and then they were being abused and stuff by fans, and it affected the three players differently. Saka has moved on. He plays well right now at Arsenal. Sancho has not moved on. He's had issues from then on. Then you talk about Marcus Rashford. Well, a bit up and down with his seasons. The one time we seem to have something like a stable season was in his first season under Ten Hag, when he scored 30 goals, right? And apart from that, most times if you look at those games, when we analyze those games, you will see that in the game he probably did nothing much, but when he got the chance he scored, so he was more efficient. We shall see. You said Rashford is going to smash records at Barca. We shall see. He's played 8 games. He has 2 goals and 3 assists. 8 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. And then he says, thank you very much. He says, I really appreciate your opinion. Thank you very much. We just got news right now, basically, that Manchester United will play mid-season friendlies. There were rumors that were going out a couple days ago that Manchester United will play mid-season friendlies in Saudi. So I just got the notification just now. that Man United will play mid-season friendlies. We'll talk about that. Thank you very much, Nish Fan, for your comments. I really appreciate the fact that, yeah, we believe, I expect Rashford to smash it, basically. I expect Rashford to smash it at Barcelona. I expect him to smash it. But yeah, thank you so much for your comments and for your responses and stuff. Now, this just came out 1 minute ago. Says Ruben Amorim has been asked about reports that Manchester United are looking to arrange mid-season friendlies later this term. The Red Devils have no midweek fixtures between now and December due to our elimination from Carabao Cup and lack of European football. The West Ham United and Wolverhampton Wanderers game at Old Trafford are currently scheduled for Wednesday 3rd December and Tuesday 30th December respectively. Now, there are also midweek dates set for each of the first 3 months of 2026 at Burnley, West Ham and Newcastle United. But aside from those particular weeks and the international breaks, United have plenty of time potentially available between outings. In the second half of his press conference to preview Saturday's meeting with Sunderland, Amorim said that the club needed to take this opportunity to increase the revenues and play in front of our global fan base. So he says, we have to do it. We knew that when we missed Europe, that there's a lot of things to consider. He said, we have our fans, the budget, and we have to also compensate for a lot of things. We have to do it, so we will do it. We want to be with our fans around the world, so we will put it all together to do that. If we have to do it, we have to manage and find a space to do it. The Red Devils toured the United States in the summer, 2 months after conducting 2024-25 campaign with an historic post-season trip to Malaysia and Hong Kong. So yeah, he's saying that it's on the cards. That's pretty much what Amorim is saying here, that it is on the cards to do a mid-season friendly. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I mean, what do you think about the whole all that Ruben Amorim is saying with regards to that? I mean, do you think that, I mean, Man United would need this mid-season friendly and stuff? I think they would, but your opinion is very important to me, so just put it in the comment section. And thank you, Nishfan, once again for your comments and stuff. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Like this video as well, so we can, you know, get moving and have conversations like these. Furthermore, speaking of other transfer news and rumors, speaking of Bruno Fernandes, like I said, somebody went and did a research on Bruno and how many times he's assisted Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll still have to do research on that. Or as a striker, how many times he has assisted Cavani. And when they asked him a question about how many times he has assisted Cavani, I didn't hear anything again. Also, if you think about the time when Bruno was here at Man United in 2020, who was our striker? Anthony Martial. How many times has he assisted Martial? You look at the time when Martial left, and I think we had what's his name? We had Rashford playing as a 9. How many times did he assist Rashford? Okay. You look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic at the time when he was here. How many times did Bruno assist him? Those are the kind of questions you have to ask, because you put in Ronaldo versus in Portugal and Ronaldo when he came here. How many times did Ronaldo play for Man United? Compared over a long period of time, because there's little to no sample size to measure how much assists Bruno has provided for the strikers. You think about the time when we had people like Jesse Lingard, you know, scoring. You say, oh, the guy said his argument was that Bruno only assists or provides assists to the wingers. Yeah, what about the times when Rashford was a striker, and the times when we're playing like fluid football? Rashford's 30-goal season, how many assists did Bruno have that season? How is it that he has so many assist numbers, but then he doesn't seem to be providing assists to the strikers? That is another research that you can actually do for yourself. I'll do that and we'll talk about it, but I feel like it's kind of like a waste of my time, because we've talked about a lot of things with regards to Bruno Fernandes. But then, I mean, who am I? We have to say what we have to say to talk about what we have to talk about. But then, yeah, so he did his research and he found out that Bruno Fernandes has only assisted Cristiano Ronaldo both for club and country 4 times. That's fine. That's fine. But what about other strikers he's played with? He's played with Zlatan. Has he played with Zlatan? No, he hasn't played with Zlatan. Sorry. He's played with Cavani. He's played with Martial. He's played with Verghorst. Has played with Rashford as a striker. He's also played with currently Rasmus Højlund and then Benjamin Sesko and stuff. So season still fresh. So we'll do it. That's a different video. But then you move on to other news. Sunderland have generated transfer speculation with a social media post related to Amad Diallo, and I'm thinking basically the reason why they put that out is so that they can kind of remember Amad when he played for Sunderland. But the truth is, Amad is going nowhere. That's the point. Yeah, he played for Sunderland, no doubt. If you remember, before he moved to Sunderland, he went to Rangers and he struggled there. Didn't really have a good season there. And then he came back and then was shipped out to Sunderland to play on loan. And he gained valuable experience playing at Sunderland. And then we move on to other things. Manchester City reportedly interested in signing La Liga defender same as United. That's all transfer news. And then we have Liverpool are reportedly interested in signing Alexander Isak. Oh, that's an old news. Then there's also the report that United have reportedly identified Oliver Glasner as potential replacement for Ruben Amorim. That's plenty rumor, basically. I will give you some updates that we've had, basically. Then another news is the fact that let me just give you this one so you can actually get a hint of an idea what we're talking about. Now, this is how they tag this news. This is according to the Sporting News. They said, misfiring Man United star attracting interest from Serie A club. Misfiring, that's fine. And that is in respect to who? Just Zirkzee. Man United are in an extremely tight spot with uncertainty around Ruben Amorim's future at Old Trafford with every passing fixture. Now, the Red Devils gave false hopes to their fans. So you see how they push the narrative, right? When you read this now, you feel like, oh, it's really that bad. The Red Devil gives false hopes to their fans with a win over Chelsea as they followed up with a 3-1 defeat against Brentford in the Premier League last week. Currently, United sit 14th, blah 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 blah. 14th in the Premier League table, and while there are several stories around the club, uncertainty over Zirkzee's future at Old Trafford may not be the most important one. Okay. However, the Dutch striker has been completely ignored by now that's how you know that these reports are crazy ones. He says, however, just listen to this English here. However, the Dutch striker has been completely ignored for Amorim as he has been an unused substitute 3 times this season. For Amorim, maybe it was a translation. That's what I would call this. As he has been an unused substitute this season whilst playing only 5 minutes against Brentford last weekend. The Dutchman survived the summer shuffle and survived how it's his first year. Come on. Man United, the 24-year-old has never really managed to cement his spot at the club ever since. So it's a translation. I'll come to that. So the 24-year-old has never really managed to cement his spot at the club ever since joining from Bologna. Well, that's translation. Now, according to reports via The Sun, Zirkzee continues to attract interest from Italy as clubs like Juventus and AC Milan are still keen on him as they aim to increase their attacking options. Meanwhile, and that's your outfit Como. Yeah. We need money. Thank you very much, Niche Fan. Niche Fan says, I think we should do the Saudi friendlies. We need money. Yeah, we actually need money because the truth is that's the only way we can generate funds, and they will pay us to even have us come to Saudi Arabia to play. So, meanwhile, another Syria outfit Como are allegedly looking to launch a loan move for the Dutch international at the winter transfer window. Zirkzee will be another mistake if we let him go, but it is what it is. Zirkzee has struggled to live up to expectations of Man United. Live up to expectations? Really? Did he? Yeah. All this news, like these rumors, fake rumors, they just put stuff out there because they want to make, get just for clicks. Yeah. In other news, other transfer news, Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford, who are currently on loan, continue to impress in their respective Champions League matches. Rashford lost, created an assist in the game, but lost to PSG. So, I mean, he has a good record against PSG, but yeah, they lost. Rasmus Højlund, yeah, they won 2-1. So, pretty much 2 goals from Rasmus, 2 assists from De Bruyne. And then Bruno Fernandes and Benjamin Sesko were named Manchester United's player and goal on 1 September, respectively. It is what it is. So we could potentially look bad. He says the only issue is that I think we will lose against Al Hilal and Al Nassr, so we could potentially look bad. Yeah, that's tough. Cristiano Ronaldo again. Oh my days! And then Al Hilal have a good team. You know, they have a good team full of European players. Oh man, I didn't think about that. That would be bad. Anyway, Niche fan, thank you for letting me know. It's yeah, it's something to think about, man. Like, it's something to think about. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the news with regards to general Manchester United news. Yeah, so speaking of the manager, Ruben Amorim, there's a whole lot flying up and down. I'm just going to read some of the news that we've been seeing over social media and then kind of analyze it. One of them is... Yeah, this one is by Simply United. According to, they say it is according to, said I think that's maybe why the Saudi want us there. They know they will win. Well, yeah, it's a friendly, and in truth, them having United in town with the Saudi fans, whether we lose or we win, it's money for the United. I'm not gonna like butt an eyelid with regards to us playing in Saudi, but we'll see. And guess what? We'll do a match preview, match review, and all of those things for the game. So stay tuned, and thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. Thank you, Niche fan, as well. Niche fan is saying Amorim needs to go. I want Glasner in. Okay. Should I respond to this? Okay, let me respond because he's Niche fan. Ruben has not bought himself time at the club, no doubt. But Oliver Glasner plays pretty much the same formation, same style, same everything, albeit a little bit more aggressive and more coordinated than Manchester United. And he has the players, Crystal Palace, to play this system. Do you guys want the 3-4-3? Because everybody seems to believe that the 3-4-3 is the issue. So if Oliver Glasner comes now, or comes in January, or comes whenever we believe, or whenever you guys want Amorim sacked, don't you think he's going to play the 3-4-3 formation? Don't you think he's going to start with a 4-2-3-1 and then evolve into a 3-4-3? Yeah. It is what it is. I've had a conversation with someone, I think it was ITN, who said he doesn't want the 3-4-3 formation anymore. Amorim has made him not to like it. And then you have Niche fan here who's saying he wants Glasner in, but it is what it is. If Glasner comes in, we're still going to back him in it. So, Man United rates Zirkzee highly and may consider him if Amorim is replaced. That's according to Graham Bailey. Now, I took note of this news because of the comments that came under. He says every Tom, Dick and Harry has an opinion, and then the question now is like, are you saying this passes for news with Bailey, who wakes up every morning and writes a nonsense opinion, and he called it a breaking news? Anyway, Graham Bailey said Man United rate De Zerbi. Rate, not that Man United want him. Man United rate De Zerbi. You said he can adapt and bring Guéhi and Wharton. That is according to Niche fan here. He can adapt and bring Guéhi and Wharton. Guéhi, left-sided centre-back. We have a couple. We have even a young one in Heaven. We have, if Lisandro Martinez can stay fit, we have a good left centre-back, because Guéhi is a left-sided centre-back, whether we like it or not. Then you say Adam Wharton. What if we sign Adam Wharton for Amorim? because he will not, like, you see, I was thinking about this today before I came live when I talked about if we get a new manager. I was watching the Bournemouth game and I thought to myself, Andoni Iraola coming in, let's say Andoni Iraola comes in for Amorim. He will want to come with his own players. That is the cycle. Man United have a manager who signed his own players. They play, the players fail, and then they say, oh, the manager has a fault. They sack the manager, they leave the players, and then another new manager comes, he wants to sign his own players, and then he leaves us with a squad of players that have been bought for a system that didn't work in the past, and then we have to now kind of try to make them play in the system of the new manager. Case in point, look at Maguire, signed under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Look at signed from Leicester City under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's here, being made to play three at the back. I remember other big channels saying some stuff like, oh, Maguire is better suited for three at the back if we play 5-3-2 when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was losing games and stuff and all of that, because he's not fast enough, doesn't have the legs and all that. Then you have Luke Shaw, signed from Southampton under Louis van Gaal. Luke Shaw, signed from Southampton under Louis van Gaal. What about Bruno Fernandes, signed from Sporting under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Diogo Dalot, signed from Porto under Mourinho as a 19-year-old at the time. We can go on and on. Terry Malacia, Ten Hag. Who else? There are so many. So many. De Ligt now and Mazraoui were Ten Hag players, even though they were signed for a system by Ineos, right? So, yeah, Menu, like Nishwan is saying, I want Menu playing. He's one of the best, our best players. Menu is a good player. Now, which brings me to one of the conversations we're going to have about the system, because I mean, we like talking about the system and things like that. So, Rio Ferdinand was like, if he was Amorim, let me just give you this. I wish I could show you this, but I'll try and see if I can. Rio Ferdinand said if he was to change his formation to a 4-2-3-1, his starting lineup would be Alte Bainde, Matthijs de Ligt, Lenny Yoro, left and right, Diogo Dalot, right back, Patrick Dogu, left back. I'm calling all the first team players he mentioned. In midfield, he will go with double sixes with Manuel Ugarte and Casemiro. In the three before the one, he went with Matheus Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, and Bryan Mbeumo. And then in attack, he went with Benjamin Sesko. No menu here. Cool. He's the best player we have, no doubt. But I'm just trying to tell you that you guys as Man United fans should chill, especially when it comes to Menu. Then, Steve Howson, who goes on podcasts with Rio Ferdinand, said his best starting 11, if he was to play not the 4-2-3-1, but a 3-2-2-3, more like an evolved or an evolutionalized, how do I call this? And so he evolved the 3-4-3 into a 3-2-2-3, which is kind of like a 3-4-3 with four midfielders in the square. And he says his lineup will go Senna Lamans in net, and then you have Matthijs de Ligt center, Lenny Yoro right, Aiden Heaven left. Okay. Then in mid, you go Manuel Ugarte. Now, in that mid, it was one of the sixes, right? Manuel Ugarte. But then he chipped in, and I've said this before, I've talked about this when I watched this video. He chipped in Nusra Mazraoui as one of the sixes as well. But what did he do? Nusra Mazraoui plays as a right wing back. But when we are playing, when we start playing, when we are defending or when we are with the ball or stuff, Mazraoui tucks into midfield and becomes an inverted fullback. Then he plays as a 6. Then Bruno Fernandes and Matheus Cunha as the 2 10s. left and right 10, wherever you want to place them. And then he puts Mbeumo out wide. He now becomes one of the 10s, but also a forward. Then Patrick Dogu out wide on the left. Then we have Benjamin Sesko. And when I thought about it and analyzed this video and looked at it, it makes sense. But you know what was missing here? Kobbie Mainoo. So you guys should chill. You guys should chill. Because even if we play 4-2-3-1 and you put Kobbie Mainoo in that mid, where would he play? You guys should chill. You put Kobbie Mainoo as a 6, you know he didn't work under Ten Hag as a 6. He's a central midfielder, he's a box-to-box midfielder, but he's still young. He has a lot of potential. He's our best player when it comes to midfield and control of games. But guys, chill. That's what I would say. Even the big guns who do better analysis than I have ever done in my life will tell you that even Mainoo does not make the lineup, especially even if Oliver Glasner comes in. Even if Oliver Glasner, you will need strong players. Then maybe if Casemiro is sold, we can now then talk about Mainoo, you know, or if Casemiro goes at the end of his contract. But it is what it is. So, in other news, you can put in your comments and let me know. I know you said Mainoo is one of our best players. I mean, you also said Watson can play 4-3-3 with Mainoo. Okay, so what formation are you? So let's do this. Let's talk about this. It says 4-3-3 with Watson, right? Because we're not gonna get Watson this season. Just so you know, we're gonna get Watson in the summer. But let's say 4-2-3-1. Watson is more of a defensive / attacking mid, so he's a number 8. So we play Watson and Mainoo, and then you drop out to Gate and Casemiro. Yeah. Then when they start running through our midfield, like, oh, the midfield is wide open, blah, blah. Remember Ten Hag? He played 4-2-3-1, this same team, and was losing at the beginning of the season, but people are forgetting. But it is what it is. I understand what you say, Niche fan. I appreciate your opinion and accept that. Mainoo is a good player, no doubt. Like, I'm not saying Mainoo is not a good player, but, you know. So, furthermore, in other news, we will go... Okay, so Oliver Glasner. This is what Oliver Glasner had to say when he was asked about the system, when it comes to his system being similar to Ruben Amorim. And this was what he had to say. Oliver Glasner says the system is not important. The habits are important. The patterns and how you want the players to behave on the pitch. Okay? Which is great. Which is quite great based on what he has said. And I appreciate that. I like that. Basically, he said the system is not the problem. The system is not important. That sounds very familiar. I mean, there is a certain manager who plays the system that has said the system is not important and that systems are overrated. He said habits are important. Patterns and how you want the players to behave on the pitch is also important. So we can talk on and stuff, but Ruben Amorim has said this long ago, that it's not about the system, but everybody blames the system. Which brings me to what Ruben Amorim said in the press conference. Yeah, let's see what Ruben Amorim said in the press conference. Now, in the press conference, Ruben Amorim said, when he was asked about the system, he said, just give me a sec, trying to get the words. Yeah, so this is what Ruben Amorim had to say. I disagree with Rio. If we get our targets, it will be 4-3-3, Lamens, Dogu, Delete, Euro, Mazraoui. Okay, so Niche fan is saying I disagree with Rio. He said if we get our targets, it should be 4-3-3. Lamens, Dogu, Delict, Euro, Mazraoui. So 4-3-3. Watson, Baleba. Okay, Baleba okay. Baleba, Mainoo. Then we have Mbeumo, Mount, and Cunha. Who plays as striker? Cunha? What happens to Sesko? What we're talking about here is futuristic. It's pretty much for next season, but it is what it is. Because we definitely are we getting Baleba this in January? Are we getting Watson now? Seeing as Watson is playing in Europa League and is doing well. Yeah, let's be guided, guys. I know, I understand, I appreciate your comments and stuff. Yeah. So the question that Ruben Amorim was asked was with regards to what the ex-player said. Okay, he said Cunha will play as striker. Yeah, we've tried it 3-4 games this season. He hasn't scored a goal. And then the one that has played fewer games, Šeško, scored. So, and Oliver Glasner does not work with, I mean, you've seen it already at Crystal Palace. He goes with tall strikers. So, Šeško is taller than him. We have to get Baleba and Wharton. No excuses. Yeah, Nishvan says we have to get Baleba and Wharton. No excuses. But in truth, Baleba and Wharton will not come this summer. That's this January. They'll definitely come next summer, right? So it's not like we're going to go out and spend in the summer. So the question that Ruben Amorim was asked was, some players have been quite heavy in their criticism this week. We're really saying this is not Manchester United, the culture is not right, and Gary Neville's criticizing the system. Can that be quite hard to listen to, or is it something like, is it? I think the follow-up question was, or how have you been able to deal with it? And then he says, oh, it's normal. This is Ruben Amorim responding, saying it's normal. You cannot run away from the results, and then you can have the baggage from last season, but last season for me doesn't matter. Which what he's trying to say in effect is that last season is in the past, so you have to kind of let it go, right? But we have had 6 games. He says in relation to this season, we have already spoken about that. We have had 6 games this season and we lost 3, and then we have had to look to the games that we've lost. If you lost against Arsenal because of the system, that's the question. If you lost against Arsenal, is it because of the system? And that question is it's then in response to what Ruben Amorim, what the journalists were asking him, he said, it's your job to make the opinion, and when you look at the game against City, was the first thing you think about when the game started the system? So saying the system is not an issue. Then he says, I think you don't think about the system in that moment. Especially, then he asked, and Brentford, I don't look at the way we I don't look at the way we concede goals. The way we create chances is also what I look at. So in other words, he's saying, I don't only look at the way we concede goals. The way we create chances is also what I look at. How many chances are we converting? He says there's nothing to do with the system, right? That is my opinion. And I'm not saying that this team would play better in a different system or not. That is not my point. My point is that if you look at the games that we didn't win, the most important thing when I watch the game is not that we lost the game because of the system. That is my opinion. But then people have different opinions, and that is okay. Nishvan is saying Rooney was a terrible manager and I don't take him seriously about the dressing room. He was there when it all started to break down after Fergie left and he did nothing about it. He just moaned. Yeah. And he also wanted to leave several times as well. So when they come out and say, oh, I don't recognize the club. Oh, the club's Manchester. Like, are we forgetting? I know we're not disrespecting with Rooney, but you know, when they come out with comments like these and criticize the team, he heaps on unwarranted pressure on these players. But that's by the way. So Nishvan, back to your question about the 4-3-3. I don't think Oliver Glasner will play 4-3-3. I think he'll play his 3-4-3 formation or 3-5-2 as the case may be, because we also have flying wingers and the team has already been kind of shaped to look like a 3-4-3 team. The only problem that people have with this formation that people are moaning about, even though they're talking about several things, is Bruno in the midfield. That is the only thing. And if you take Bruno out that midfield and put him in the attacking third, that makes Cunha one of the strikers or makes Cunha a sub for any of the attacking tens. It's not like every time Bruno is going to play as a right 10 all the time. No. I mean, which means that we can also rest Bruno, not play him the whole 90 minutes, even though there's not enough minutes to go around. But Oliver Glasner has said the system is not important, obviously, and Amorim has said it in the press conference. Systems are overrated. Habits are important. The things you do within the game, the styles of play within the system, within the formation, the patterns, and how you want the players to behave on the pitch. So we move, and then onto other things with regards to some people in the media talking. let's just sell Bruno. Oh, definitely. Bruno is going in this at the end of this season. Like, he's going to be sold. Saudi are interested. I brought the news earlier that Saudi are interested in him, despite the fact that we're interested in him in the summer. There's a chance that he could go for 100 million, but we'll see. Let's just sell Bruno. We need to move on from him. Yeah, he's tried. He's done his best for the team. I wish that we could sell him with a trophy. Like, basically, he wins a trophy for the club and then we sell him. Anthony on Manchester United. Anthony never stops talking. Maybe it's the old news. ESPN Brazil is the old news from 3 days ago. But then Mbumo looks so unhappy, and so does Šeško and Cunha. No, I don't think they look unhappy. They're just frustrated. Amorim said it in the press conference. He said that they're frustrated. Nishfan is saying Mbumo looks so unhappy, and so does Šeško and Cunha. Yeah, but I don't think they're unhappy. I think they were frustrated, because that's what Ruben Amorim said in the interview with Gary Neville. Anthony on Manchester United. I won't mention anyone's name here, but I think, is this not supposed, like, with this kind of comment, it's definitely going to put pressure on whoever you're referring to. I won't mention anyone's name here, but I think there was a bit of lack of respect there, even a bit of rudeness too, with no one giving you a good morning, a good afternoon. But even that, and not even that, but anyway, that's in the past. I won't give much importance to these things. Oh my God, Anthony. Oh my God, Anthony. We've seen videos online, several videos online of you saying good morning and somebody responding to you, especially the person holding the camera. How is that an issue for you, man? It's like, why are you being a baby? Why are you being a baby? See, Anthony is completely correct. That's Nishfan saying. Completely correct about what? The fact that they disrespected him. He did everything for the club. What did he do? How many goals did he score? Okay, quick check. It's frustrating when you hear things like these from like ex-players. We're going to go to Andoni Dos Santos right now. Anthony at Real Betis. We're going to look at his stats season by season, all competition, right? We're looking at, let's go to Anthony. Go down. So, Anthony, season by season, right? For club by club, Anthony played 96 games. No, 96 games for Manchester United. He did everything, right? He tried his best. He played, okay. For Sao Paulo, he played 52 games, 6 goals. For Ajax, he played 82 games, 25 goals. For Manchester United, 96 games, 12 goals from 2022 to 2025. January 2025. January 2025 to June 2025, 26 games, 9 goals. Everybody says this when they leave. That was what Nishfan just said. Yeah, that's fine. Now, he has played for Real Betis, 4 games, 1 goal. Fine. Like, fine. Let's go season by season. So we can now know the gravity of what has been going on with Anthony, because he has not done anything. Even Rashford did better than Anthony. 22-23 season, Anthony played 44 games, 8 goals, 3 assists. Oh, 11 goal contributions, no doubt. 24-25 season, 14 games. No, 23-24 season, 38 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, all competitions. Then we go to Man United, 24-25 season, 14 games, 1 goal, no assist. Nah, man. Nobody should. Like, you're talking about disrespect and stuff. That's the only thing you can say. Disrespect. They disrespected you. Bro. Who disrespected you? You don't want to mention names. You've put pressure on the club for no reason. You look at all his stats per 90. Poor. And he's 25. I wish him all the best. We sold him. He's no longer a Man United player. He's a Real Betis player now. So he should enjoy his life. But he should just stop talking trash about Man United. But it is what it is. We move on to Anthony. Yeah, I'm done with him. Man United rates, I've said that. Yeah, this one I think I like. Rashford says our club is a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and also a huge jersey to wear. A huge jersey to wear. That's the fact. they're all playing amazing now. Well, 4 games, 1 assist, 1 goal. That's what he's for Anthony. For Rasmus, he's had 3 goals in all competitions, and he's played 4 games or 5 games. Yeah. Breaking news. This is according to Simply United by Team Talk. He says Manchester United lead Fulham in the race to sign Middlesbrough midfielder Hayden Hackney, who's 23. That's another midfielder I like. Middlesbrough midfielder is very athletic, and I think he's very he's kind of player that is very defensive as well. He's a good defensive midfielder, but very like giving you that box-to-box kind of midfielder. He'll be good to sign it in Hackney. Good experience, but I don't know if he has Premier League experience, but then he'll be a good addition to the squad, according to Team Talk. And then Fabrizio Romano said this on YouTube. Fabrizio Romano on what happens if Man United lose this weekend. United have not prepared anything in case they lose against Sunderland. At the moment, the situation is still the same. Focus on the games and try to support Ruben Amorim. Yeah, and one thing I'm going to say before we kind of wrap things up here is that Fabrizio Romano seems to always want to push the Xavi Hernandez situation on Man United by putting out news stating that Man United are interested in Xavi, or Xavi is ready to go. Because what you hear is not Man United are interested in Xavi. You say, oh, Man United rates Xavi, but Xavi is ready to go. So it's like pushing the news out there, and people tend to want to ask him. Yeah, you said oh, I love the channel, but I feel like you're defending the setup too much. It's obvious the club is rotten to the core. It destroys players and managers. I'm not defending the setup. I am making excuses for the narratives that are being pushed by the media and the fans as well, as they take it, because I'm for the fact that we should back the manager, but not kind of defend mediocrity. That's what I'm trying to say. We sacked Mourinho when he got second. We are insane. We sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he got third and second. And then the next season we sacked him. And we brought in Ralph Rangnick. Think about it. The mistakes of the past, I think they're even haunting us now. That's what I think. Oliver Glasner says has his eyes set on the Man United job. He turned down the latest contract offer from Crystal Palace, according to Indy Kaila. But it is what it is. We'll be following that. Points in the first 33 games for managers. Ruben Amorim for Man United, 34 points in 33 games. Mikel Arteta for Arsenal, 47 points in 33 games. Sir Alex Ferguson, 51 points in 33 games. Excuse me. Jurgen Klopp, 52 points in 33 games. And the person says, this is according to Transfer News Live, says Arteta, Ferguson and Klopp all started slowly and went on to achieve bigger and better things. Do you think Amorim can do the same? Yeah, we will observe. It's the Glazers. And yeah, no, not so. For me, I feel this is what Nishvan saying, that exactly it is the Glazers. I feel the Glazers are involved in all of this. They put us in this rut, and Ineos are trying to clean it up. And so, unfortunately, it's not working as we expect. Take money out of the club. That's the Glazers. They are incompetent and just want to take money out of the club. Well, everybody has flogged it. In fact, even like the big channels have talked about it a lot. Maybe they're not talking about it so much, but they have talked about it a lot. And I think, the protests are gone, isn't it? So it is what it is. Yeah, Manchester United is going to hold a minute silence and wear black armbands in both the women's game. I watched the women's game against Chelsea. That game ended 1-1. Chelsea scored first and Man United scored through a belter from the left back. So yeah, Man United played 1-1 at Lee Sports Village and still remain unbeaten in the league, in the Barclays Women's Super League. Also, Sunderland, they wear black armbands on Saturday to pay tribute to those who were affected by the terror attack in Manchester on Yom Kippur. Manchester City will do the same against Arsenal in WSL and away at Brentford on Sunday. Another news again, because that's why I'm trying to tell you, right? Ineos are money hungry as well. How? They're trying to make money. use the club to make money, but not to take money out the club. They've invested in the training ground. So that's them putting their own money in the club. They put in over £200 million last year in the club, and then the club has reported record profits despite not making Europe at the end of the middle of the year, right? So I mean, Ineos are doing their best. They're signing players, especially like you check out all the signings that Ineos have made. Which one has been a flop? Think about it. Check out all the signings Ineos have made. Which one would you say with your chest that they've been flops in United? But it is what it is. Man United chiefs gave thought. So that's why the mirror. That's why it's so funny. Man United chiefs gave thought to making Ole Gunnar Solskjaer manager once again before landing Ruben Amorim last year. Yeah, that's old news. Mirror football, but it is. They gave thought to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, I've been opposed to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but then they had to move in quick or swoop in quick on Ruben Amorim. Was the next best thing. In fact, Ruben Amorim was a target for Liverpool before they went and got in a slot. So, then they're still pushing ESPN FC. ESPN FC don't like Man United, just so you know. Manchester United out of favour striker Joshua Zirkzee is still of interest to Juventus and AC Milan, and they look to add to their attacking options. He is also a January loan target for Cesc Fabregas at Como. If you take Zirkzee out, who do we have as strikers? As a striker again, you take Zirkzee. If you remove Šeško, Zirkzee goes in there almost immediately. You remove Cunha, Bruno goes in there as a 10. You remove Mbumo, Ahmad goes in there. So you now take out Zirkzee, then what now happens? If you want to change our style of play or our formation to a 3-5-2, Zirkzee and Šeško are definitely going to be in the 2 there. So I mean, is what it is. He's also a general target for general loan target for Cesc Fabregas. Yeah. And then he scored just 6 goals since he was signed. Yeah, so he's scored 6 goals since he was signed for Man United. Did not put how many games he played, but it is what it is. There was news yesterday that Bruno Fernandes was unhappy with the formation, with his position on the squad and where he's being played in the midfield and stuff. But Simply United came out through some C reports that just give me one sec. It came out through some C reports that Bruno Fernandes insists, people close to Bruno Fernandes insist that he has no complaints about the role he's being asked to play and remains fully focused on leading by example for Manchester United. I know my United fans, Cunha is the best striker we have. Yeah, but he needs to be scoring goals to prove that he's the best striker. I mean, he scored 15 goals last season with 6 assists. So, yeah, he needs to be scoring goals. That's according to Niche Fan. We need to sell we need to sell Newcastle and buy us for 10 million, then we'll be back on top. Yeah, just bench Bruno. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to benching Bruno as well. But then also Manchester United, this is cut off side saying Manchester United have added Brentford and Ukraine defensive midfielder Yeho Yarmolyuk to their list of transfer targets after sending scouts to watch him this season. Where did they watch him? Did they watch him against Man United? Okay. Both Man United and Tottenham are really keen on the highly rated 21-year-old. If we get him, that will also be another good signing anyway. But yeah. Yeah. With former boss Thomas Frank a big admirer of Yarmolyuk. Yarmolyuk is a good player. I've watched him a couple times. Seems like a good player as well. Another one is Eddie Howe has reiterated his commitment to Newcastle after recent links to Manchester United. Where? This is according to Match of the Day, BBC. My commitment, this is what Eddie Howe... It's so funny. This is what Eddie Howe has had to say. My commitment is that I'm all in. I'm 100% here and always have been. The season ahead could be a wonderful thing, and that is what I want to focus on. He will leave his Champions League that he's playing at Newcastle with good money and come to Man United. I doubt that. I know Man United is a big club and stuff, but I mean, there's chaos I don't think we all realize that, but the media always want to push some news because they want to create a link to discredit Ruben Amorim. And I'm not trying to say I'm defending Ruben Amorim. I back Ruben Amorim, but I'm not going to now say, oh, we'll shy away from the results and stuff. Sir Gareth Southgate has fears that he would not be given the time to transform Manchester United into a force again if he became their next manager. This according to The Sun. But yesterday, The Sun and other reporters put out news that Gareth Southgate will not take the Man United job. He's turned down any links with, but it's what it is. List of managers out of work right now. So because they wanted to make this news, like Gareth Southgate, Joachim Low, Xavi, Luciano Spalletti, Thiago Motta, Walter Mazzari, Marco Rose, Sergio Conceição, Eric Ten Hag, Gary O'Neill, Sam Allardyce, Dunga, Sean Dyche, Bruno Lage, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Hasenhüttl, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Michael Carrick, and Rafael Benitez. Yeah. Okay. Manchester United, this one again. This is according to Football Insider, and I'm laughing because it's so funny. Why would Man United go for this player when we've already gone for a long-term option? But let's go. Man United are ready to ignite their interest in Aston Villa goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez in January transfer window. They only signed St. Lamens in September. According to Football Insider, it's all rumors, but we'll just talk about it. That's why if you look at the caption, I said transfer rumors as well. We're about to round off now. Amorim said this, and I'm going to analyze this in another video. It says, of course, Šeško was eager to score his first goal. What I appreciate most about Ben is that when things are tough, he works hard every minute of the match. That is what matters for me most for now. So the fact that when things are tough, when things are not going as planned, he works really hard. So it is what it is. Then we're facing Sunderland tomorrow, right? Sunderland's left attacking midfielder Chris Rigg is off target to Manchester United. Chris Rigg is still on Man United's radar. A summer move was considered, but other squad priorities took precedence. That is according to Graham Bailey. Yeah, you just drop any news and it will just move. But it is what it is. Then before we go, Tottenham and Manchester United ahead of Fulham in the race to sign Middlesbrough's 23-year-old midfielder Hayden Hackney. And then the last news we have here, this is with regard, like I said to you before we got here, Xavi always tries his best to push something so that he can put Xavi in the news. Fabrizio Romano on Xavi still being available on the manager's market. You see the target. It's not that Man United are interested in Xavi. Nope. It's just the fact that he is available. And he says, on Manchester United, guys, Xavi will not go to Al Ittihad. Yeah. Al Ittihad are looking for, I think Al Ittihad got a new manager like yesterday, right? So he says, on Manchester United, guys, Xavi will not go to Al Ittihad. They had conversations with Xavi, but who won the race is Sergio Conceição. Conceição is now Al Ittihad manager. Remember that list of managers I gave you? Sergio Conceição was there. I think he's the father of the Conceição that plays for Juventus. Yeah, I think it's Juventus. For Xavi Hernandez, the Premier League remains an ideal destination. Okay, maybe Xavi Hernandez is saying it, but not that Man United are interested. Xavi, I can confirm, would love to work in the Premier League one day, and so if that day is as soon as possible, Xavi would be very happy about that. Xavi is studying the Premier League and he's ready to return as soon as possible, maybe in Spain. So you see, Xavi is studying the Premier League. He's ready to return as soon as possible, maybe in Spain, England, Italy, whenever. But Xavi feels very ready. So for sure, Xavi will be more than happy to have an opportunity in England. Nothing related to Manchester United in that conversation. But because we want Amorim out, I'm not saying that I don't respect your opinion. Then Amorim, then any other person but Amorim. That's what it is. Remember, Xavi did not really succeed at Barcelona. Let's have it right. He did not really succeed at Barcelona. He had fairly good success. No doubt. We can rate. Let's check. I mean, like, it's not like we don't know what we're saying before we wrap this all up. Xavi Hernandez. So Xavi Hernandez coaching career at Barcelona, 64% win rate. In his former club, he had 67% win rate. That was at Al Saad from 2019 to 2021. He won 50 games, he drew 12, he lost 13. This was when he was in Saudi. Now he at Barcelona, from November 2021 to May 2024, Xavi won 91 games, 23 wins, 22 draws, and 29 losses, 2.1 points per game. What did overall in his career? Okay, this was in Barcelona, 143 matches played. And yeah, I think overall in his career, what has he won? I think he's won the league twice, or the league, the cup, or something. Yeah, I think he did that. So he won the Primera Division 22-23 season, and then the Super Cup 22-23 season. Apart from that, then there's the Trofeu Jean Gampa, which is 2023 and 2022. Yeah. But all the trophies he's won were in Qatar, Al Saad. I said Saudis. Qatar, Al Saad, QSL Cup, he won 1. Emir Cup, he won 2. Qatar Cup, he won 2. Sheikh Jassim Cup, he won 1. And Stars League, he won 1. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We could go on and on talking about it and we'll never finish, but thank you for all the comments and everything. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. Thank you so much for joining us on this live. We will come again, hopefully tomorrow. But then, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about everything you've heard in this video. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.